But the first thing I want to talk about, we had it on the prep sheet last week and didn't get to it, but it's something that I like to have a conversation about because it's fun to have conversations like this when you have this accumulation of young talent in Detroit and you can kind of go back and forth with who's who and who you'd like to see. The question is, we can start with you, Flannel Sam.
Yes. Who
has the higher ceiling in Detroit, Cade Cunningham or Jameson Williams?
Believe it or not,
I'm walking on it.
I think it's Jameson Williams.
Whoa!
And here's why. And it's very, very simple. It's the Detroit Lions. And I think Jameson Williams' ceiling is Tyreek Hill. I've never seen a football player look more and play more like Tyreek Hill at any level than Jameson Williams' great season at Alabama. In that one season, he had 79 catches for 1,572 yards, 15 touchdowns on a ridiculous 20 yards per catch, including a 7-catch for 184-yard, 2-touchdown game in the SEC championship game that they won against Georgia. We already know that this Detroit Lions offense was damn good last year. It was top 5 in scoring. But if under Ben Johnson can find a way to really scheme and get the most out of Jameson Williams in the offseason, I think Jameson Williams is a guy that can get 1,200, 1,300 yards next season on 15 to 17, 18 yards per catch. And if he does that and this offense becomes 1, 2, 3 in all of the NFL, Jameson Williams will be the biggest star in the city of Detroit. The reality is, as much as a lot of us love the Pistons, and obviously Detroit loves the Pistons too. They're 11th in attendance even though they have a terrible team. If the Lions are good, if the Lions are in the playoffs, if they win a division, win a playoff game, go to a conference championship, even a freaking Super Bowl, just imagine the buzz that will be in this town. And I think that Jameson Williams has the makings of being the best offensive skill player on this team. I think his ceiling is actually, when we talk about Detroit Lions skill position players who are all-time greats, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, I think Jameson Williams can add his name to that. And with a better run organization, I think that with Jameson Williams, that could also come with more winning than Calvin or Barry ever experienced.
Oh!
I love Cade Cunningham. I think that he's a guy that showed a ton in his rookie year, especially in the month of March, where he was one of the best point guards in the NBA. I'll die on that hill. But they're still so far away from really winning and competing, and it's the Pistons. This is a Lions city, and for that reason, and because of the fact that I think Jameson Williams has Tyreek Hill like potential and a ceiling, give me Jameson Williams.
I love what you just said, Flannel, but I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going with Cade Cunningham. I just think this guy has the potential to be the second best point guard in the history of the Detroit Pistons. This guy has the potential to be a top 3 point guard in the NBA. You look at his size, his skill level, his ability, it's all extremely impressive. He's going to come back next year. He's going to be healthier than he's been since high school, and we saw what he was doing in that second half of his rookie year, where he was going for 23, 6, and 6, where he was going out there and doing everything, not only offensively, but what he's capable of doing as a perimeter defender brings so much to this Pistons organization. His leadership already is tangible. You see it on the bench. You see it happening. I think Cade Cunningham, when it's all said and done, could finish his career as a top 5 Detroit Piston. And this is something that I am so excited for. This is something that I need in my life because I love the NBA so much. I love the Detroit Pistons so much. Cade embodies a lot of what we love about the Detroit Pistons. He's not going to go and talk in the media and say all this stupid shit and do random things with his hair and dress like an idiot and go to France like Jalen Green did. He is about his business. He is about the grind. He is about the hustle. He is a mild-mannered guy who's going to go out there. He's going to give you buckets, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. I think Cade Cunningham has unlimited potential that is going to be tapped into when he comes back. I love Cade Cunningham and what he does for this team, what he does for this city. It's extremely impressive to me how he can be a 6'7" point guard, lead an offense when needed, take over as a scorer when needed, play lockdown defense when needed. I think this guy is something special, and I think he is going to prove that he is special, and he will, like I said, he has a limitless ceiling. His ceiling is the roof, and this guy is just going to go out there and at his peak will be a top 3 point guard in the NBA.
You know what's funny, Spence? I agree with every single thing you just said, but I would still go with Jameson Williams having the higher ceiling. And what does that tell you about the potential of these teams going forward? I mean, we already see it with the Lions. They were 9-8 last year. They were this close to making a playoff spot, and their offense was the biggest reason for it, being top 5. And Jameson Williams was pretty much a non-factor. I think that when it comes to Jameson Williams, one thing that you're going to see next year that you didn't see at all this year is that Jameson Williams can run every single route in the tree. He's the type of guy that can take is comfortable going down the middle, can catch one of those, and Jared Goff has proven he can throw those passes effectively and take them to the house. Yeah. And I just think with Jameson Williams, he's going to be that Ferrari. He's going to be that guy that takes this offense from being potentially top 5 to borderline like Kansas City Chiefs-esque, although they don't have the Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. But Tyreek Hill was on the Chiefs for a while. But yeah, everything you said about Cade Cunningham is true. I think they're both going to be – they might be the 2 biggest superstars in the entire city in the next 4 to 5 years.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And that's the things that we have to look forward to as Detroit sports fans. I mean, we see it with the Lions. We're obviously enduring a very, very miserable season with the Pistons, but they would be looking a hell of a lot better with Cade Cunningham out on the floor.
Yes, they would.
You best believe that. Yeah. They would not be one of the worst teams in the NBA. They would probably have 19 to 20 wins by now, which isn't saying much, but it's a hell of a lot better than where they're at now, and at least you'd be able to see more tangible progress. So me picking Jameson Williams was not a shot at Cade. I think they are going to both be superstars. I just think that your ceiling as a Lions superstar on a team that could win big in the next 3 to 4 years, I just could not imagine the buzz in this city.
I agree. JB, how you feeling? Who do you think has the higher ceiling, Cade or J-Mo?
I think I might have to lean with J-Mo on this one, but this is no disrespect to Cade. I do think he will develop into a star as well, too. It's going to take him a little bit more time, especially with the Pistons offense that they're running right now. I feel like they don't have a clear direction, but as far as J-Mo goes, he didn't get that full offseason, and we didn't get to see him have a full run out there with Jared Goff. Once this offseason hits and they actually go through OTAs and the training as well too, you're going to find a better connection between him and Goff. So I think this upcoming season, you're going to see a brand new J-Mo out there that's just going to be turning heads for everyone. So give me J-Mo.
I don't mind it. Chris?
Not to split and be pragmatic here, but I think both of you are right, but the reason I would lean Cade Cunningham is because of what we talked about earlier this week with Lucas about wide receivers versus basketball players, like in general. Wide receivers are dependent on a quarterback, and that's nothing against Goff. I'm not taking it there. I'm just saying that a wide receiver typically can impact a game less than a great basketball player when you have only 5 guys on the floor and he can hold the ball every single play. You see what Luka does in Dallas, and that's often the comparison for Cade Cunningham. So while J-Mo has all the ability in the world, and I think he can absolutely be an elite receiver from what I've seen, I think Cade Cunningham, for everything you mentioned, Spencer, the emotional side of it, but just even the pragmatic side of it, looking at just strictly who can impact a game more, it's a star basketball player more than a star wide receiver.
I agree with that. And also, Sam, you mentioned like what it means to win with the Lions in Detroit.
Yes.
But also what it means to be the star point guard of the Detroit Pistons. Like, you look at that is a polarizing figure that has always been in Detroit sports. Is the point guard is the guy that they're drawn to. Obviously, the big men are a part of it too, but it's the Isaiah, it's the Chauncey, it's what Grant Hill was trying to be until he got injured.
So I wanted Brandon Jennings to be.
It's what you wanted Brandon Jennings to be. It's what Cade Cunningham will be. Is that electric point guard and just snatch the soul of the enemy, snatch the soul of the community in a good way. And like I said, he does everything right. I mean, so does J-Mo. They're both great guys on and off the field. So I'm really excited and like you said, just to have this conversation, to be able to have this conversation, not even mentioning other players like Aiden Hutchinson and different people like that, just between these two is something that I'm really excited to have.
Yeah, and you mentioned it about Cade, and one thing that Cade has right now that Jameson Williams does not have is Cade has a body of work in the NBA, having a Rookie of the Year, a Rookie of the Year
season.
Yeah, basically a Rookie of the Year season. Quality season. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Chris. And Jameson Williams, unfortunately, in his 1 year, he played 6 games, had 2 touches. So you've already seen what Cade can be. And I agree. Obviously, if you're a star point guard, if you are a franchise-changing NBA player, you can come right into the league and basically change the fortunes of the franchise. And Cade, I believe, is if the Pistons are going to win in the next 5 to 7 years, it will be because of Cade Cunningham is their leader. Cade Cunningham is that point guard. Cade Cunningham is one of the best point guards in the NBA moving forward. So on that hand, I get it. I completely understand why you guys say Cade Cunningham. The Lions factor, the explosion factor with Jameson Williams, the fact that I really do think that he has Tyreek Hill potential. That's his comparison to me. You can't deny that. But what if Cade Cunningham, like you said, is that top 3-point guard in the NBA, is a guy that can lead the Pistons to the playoffs, then the conference finals, and maybe a championship, and Jameson Williams is that Tyreek Hill level burner, that difference-making wide receiver? The fortunes in this city and probably for this network will change greatly for the better.
Drastically. And that's something that we'd love to see, is 2 guys leading these franchises to success. And I think that Cade Cunningham and Jameson Williams both have a very high probability of hitting. Like I said, yeah. I wholeheartedly believe by the end of his career, Cade Cunningham will be the second best point guard in the history of the Detroit Pistons.
That, to me, is inarguable. If he doesn't do that, I think that it will be disappointing. Because as much as we love Chauncey Billups, he wasn't in Detroit his entire career. He was never a superstar-like player. He was valuable. I love Chauncey Billups for all that he did for the city, for this team, was the finals MVP. They do not win a championship without him. But with Cade Cunningham, we're looking at him to be a superstar,
yes.
a guy who is the best player on a championship team, no doubt. Obviously, Isaiah's number 1, but yeah, Cade Cunningham, I would argue, and maybe this is a little presumptuous, that he's already hit. We already know that he's going to be great.
Yes.
There aren't that many questions about him. It's just about getting healthy again. His efficiency numbers could be better. I think him developing along with Ivy and Duran and kind of getting a better supporting cast will do nothing but good things for him. I think he will contribute to that because I think he makes others around him better.
He does. That's what it is with him. Is it's not one way that he can beat you or one way he affects the game. He can adapt his game for so many different situations. I love the guy, man. I'm so excited to see him on the court next season. Like I said, he's going to be the healthiest he's been since high school, and we're going to see the best version of Cade Cunningham in a long time.